5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the real world. This is episode 2. Today, it's going to be called Why We Are Shutting Down Our Company. My name is Cody.
I'm Jillian.
And I am super excited to finally talk about this. It's been something that we've been trying to figure out how we're going to bring this up and how we're going to talk about it, how we're going to leave it, where we're headed. So we're going to jump into all those things today, guys. But first, I want to know how you're feeling after the first one. We got one under our belt.
I feel good. I mean, there's definitely things after I rewatched and re-listened to this that I was like, ew, I really do that? Like, is that what I sound like? But, you know, it's just one of those humps you got to get over. Need to stop overthinking myself and overthinking what I'm doing. That's not how I should be living my life and how anyone should be. So need to start getting even more comfortable in my body. How are you feeling?
I mean, I thought it was really good. I thought we were way more comfortable than I thought we were going to be. And just so you guys know, if you're watching this on YouTube and you kind of see us sitting shoulder to shoulder facing forward, there's like no other way in our studio to film this thing. So we're working with what we got. We really wanted to start this. That's what we talked about last episode. If you guys haven't listened to it, definitely jump back and listen to that one. It's all about why we're stopping with the excuses and just getting started. But once I uploaded that, I really noticed the color once it was on YouTube, and I kind of thought about deleting it and re-uploading with the new color, just because I thought it was really orange. But it is what it is. Episode 1 is up. I'm super excited that we have a YouTube channel. There's actually the first video, which has always been the struggle. So I'm super excited. I'm feeling good.
Yeah. And as a side note, we haven't really announced to too many friends and family that we're doing this. So if you're listening to this, welcome.
Yeah.
But we're just trying to get this experience and just get rolling before we introduce it to everyone in our lives.
Yeah. And I just couldn't be more excited about it. And I think that it's definitely allowing us to kind of talk about things that maybe we didn't know how to. It's definitely just giving us kind of the placeholder to start YouTube, but it's also allowing us to kind of air what we're thinking and feeling. And I think eventually that this will be a really good way to kind of get to know us if people don't.
I think it's a really good way to have a conversation with you too.
Oh, I totally agree.
Sometimes we're just too busy to sit down and talk about these things, so
this kind of forces us into it.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome to the hot seat, babe.
Welcome to the real world. Episode 2. So today we're going to be talking about Voyager Design Co., which was a company that we ran together in the past. We're no longer doing that, so it's not a clickbait title. Like, we actually are shutting down the company that we were running together. We really just kind of want to talk about what it was, where it came from, kind of what that looked like in our relationship, what we were scared of to end it, and then kind of where we're headed. So, who wants to start this thing? This is a story time and a half, I think.
Well, I think you need to start by telling everyone how Voyager started and kind of like what it is, because Voyager wasn't Voyager when you and I started dating.
So, man, this is all right. Here we go. So, back in high school, so like 2013, I was filming my sister's wedding while I was in it. Which, if there's any videographers out there, please don't take the bait. Like, do not do that. I love my sister. I'm so glad that I was in the wedding. I'm glad I filmed it because it definitely kind of started my film career, if you will. But that was such a struggle. So once I got that one done, we put it out on Facebook. It got shared around quite a bit through family and friends. And then we had a couple people reach out to me saying, hey, could you do film? Could you do films for our wedding? So that kind of one just led to another. And then my sister wanted to try to dabble in event planning. So I think the first like official Facebook page when we uploaded it was Capone and Chasen wedding event planning and videography services, if I remember correctly. It's something just ridiculously
I think there was like a
long.
207 in there too.
Yeah. So it was kind of a mess. We didn't really know what we were doing. I mean, that was a long time ago. We just thought, hey, this would be cool. And it actually really started to take off kind of more than I ever expected. One wedding would lead to 2 or 3 people that would see it and reach out. And it just kind of kept progressing until I was shooting like 10 a summer. And that's everything that page was. So Creative Celebrations was just strictly wedding videos. That was allowing me to buy more camera gear. It was allowing me to kind of network and figure out who owns businesses. And that led to even more business. But right around when we started dating, I was getting super burnt out of shooting weddings. Like, I think I did around 40 of them. Most of the storylines are the same, so just doing them again and again, I just kind of started to dread the editing process of it. And we'll get further into it, but it started with weddings. The whole page was, brides and friends of the brides. And that was just the community that was built was strictly for wedding videos. But we thought, hey, we have a start. So that is when you came into the picture and we changed up a couple things. So why don't you take that?
Yeah. So when we started dating, the video page or company was called Creative Celebrations. So no longer a very, very long name, but it also wasn't exactly, I think, what either of us wanted. Correct. So we had a very short discussion when we first started dating about like, what do we do? And I think it took like a whole summer for us to kind of figure it out. So a whole summer together as Creative Celebrations, but I wasn't really doing anything besides like second shooting for you. And I was still learning because that isn't not really wasn't my thing at the time.
Right.
So once the summer ended, I think we're like, okay, we want to take this more seriously. We have one more year in college. We should just talk about this. And at the time we still are passionate about traveling. So we're like, we should name it something that has to do with our passions too. And after a few really long Google and thesaurus searches, I think we had picked Voyager, but it took us a few weeks to actually make the decision.
Yeah, and I think that was kind of the first time that we thought, hey, what if we had a company that wasn't stationary, and it could really move anywhere, and we could pick up what, if a client wanted to work with us, no matter where they were, kind of in the U.S., we were going to be there. So that was kind of just the first thought that we had, like, what if this was a travel company? What if it could go anywhere? So that kind of taking the voyage was kind of the thing that got me into the word. And then I was thinking Voyager, and we didn't really know. I think that's why we got to Voyager Design Co. was because we didn't really know what we wanted it to be or what services we were going to offer.
We were all over the place. At the time, I was loving graphic design, which... interesting. And photography. So we're just like, we'll just have an umbrella name,
right,
and do creative things, which looking back on that now, I kind of get why,
we'll get to it. But let's talk a little bit about what it was kind of like to just jump into a company together, like with a new relationship, and kind of what did you feel? Because I just kind of came from a small business background. So to me, it was just kind of second nature. Like people, kind of ask us, like, what is it like owning a company together as a couple? And to me, I don't even really think about it. Like when they asked, I kind of had to stop and think about it. But I'd like to kind of know what you thought, like coming into a new relationship with me and then like seeing that I had the company, but then also knowing that you and we wanted a company together.
Yeah, it was definitely different for me. Only because I had never had like a side hustle. I've always had 2 or 3 jobs at once, but I've never had like my own personal like passion project side hustle. So I had watched Cody over the years doing this, and I was amazed by it. It seemed like you were having a lot of fun and you were getting to know a bunch of new people and just kind of grow. I personally think you grew in video faster than many people because you were able to do it so much more often because of the weddings. But so I was excited about it, but a little nervous just because I had never done it before. And that first summer, it was pretty simple for me. You were very, calm with me, and you didn't even really know if you wanted, like if you should invite me to film with you.
Yeah.
I don't think you even knew if I wanted to. I didn't know if I wanted to. So after the first wedding, I loved it. I mean, side note, I love weddings, so like
That she does.
so going to a wedding and being able to capture that moment it makes me emotional, but it's just amazing. So I really believed in what he was doing, and if there was anything I could do to help, I was there. And that's kind of how this started. It was more of me helping him. And then once I realized, like, hey, I love this. Like, I want to do this forever, or I thought.
Yeah.
So after that summer, I think is when I started creating the website and working on social and actually digging deep and being a part of the company with you.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, when I first started, it was really allowing me to grow. While I was still in college, I was also taking whatever I learned throughout that week and shooting weddings on the weekends. So it really did kind of help me really step into the industry and kind of figure out what it felt like to have clients pulling at me in one direction and school in the other. But that's something that I kept up through all of college, all 4 years, and I loved it. I mean, it allowed me to have a lot more freedom. It allowed me to use my own gear, constantly buy into that. But I think, sophomore year of college, I just started to realize, like, whoa, these weddings are starting to just wear on me. It wasn't really the shooting part, although the shooting part made me extremely nervous. It was really just the editing. I just didn't look forward to it. So I didn't, I just wasn't motivated to get into it, which would delay the edit. And then obviously people want their wedding videos the next day. Yeah. And not that that's a bad thing. Like if it was my wedding, I'd want to see it too, yeah. Right? Like if that was our wedding, I would be like, oh, so how's it coming? Like I would do the same exact thing. So I can't say anything bad about any of the people I worked with. I'm super thankful. But yeah, it was just kind of a place to start, but it allowed me to kind of branch off and figure out what I really wanted to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I don't think you give yourself enough credit for that first wedding video that you had compared to the last one. Do you think the last one is actually the last one that you'll ever film and create?
I really do. I really do. Yeah. I mean, I said when I filmed that wedding and I started to edit it and I was watching it back through, I said, this is the last wedding video I want to watch until it's ours. And I still hold true to that. I am pretty excited that I don't have any weddings this summer just because that editing process, and I would just get so nervous. Like with a wedding, why I think a lot of people are scared to shoot them is because there's so many things that can go wrong, right? Yeah. I mean, the cameras, and I've had pretty much all of them go wrong over the years. Like cameras stop recording, and I always try to shoot with more than one camera. So even with a second shooter, that means there's one or two cameras rolling by themselves. Forgot to turn those on. I've had memory cards break in half and the weddings are gone. I've had my phone delete itself, and that contained the audio for the vows. So I had to actually go to their house and record their vows of them like sitting shoulder to shoulder and then try to match it. So there's just a million things that could go wrong, and most of them did, but that really helped me, I think, when it comes to shooting everything else. It was just really that learning process that helped me get kind of past that.
Yeah. And I think what I'm about to bring up is obviously a bigger conversation that we should have, but can you just talk a little bit about your anxiety? Or you didn't even know it was anxiety right at the time, but your anxiety pre-weddings?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, this is definitely something that we'll probably do multiple videos and podcasts about, because like you just said, I didn't even really know what anxiety was. I really didn't. Like I would, before a wedding, literally every single time just feel like I'm gonna puke, like straight up. I thought I would get sick every single time, and Jill was like, well, I think you might be getting a little anxious about it. I'm like, no,
I'm just sick.
Yeah, I'm just sick. So I'd like be going to a wedding, like chugging Pepto and eating Tums and just like doing everything I can. But in my head, it was just because my mind was racing so fast. Like, did I grab all the camera equipment? What could go wrong? Like just running every scenario through. And it was just so overwhelming that I think that was a big piece of kind of why I no longer wanted to do it, was because I liked it at first that there was only one shot to get what you need. But then now that I'm kind of getting into more of the art side of video, I guess, like really slow shots and setting them up and controlling everything with the lights and the depth of field and everything, where on a wedding, it's pretty run and gun. Like you got to be on your toes all the time. You really can't let your guard down for the 8 10, 12, 14-hour day that you're there.
Yeah.
Because you can't just say, oh, sorry, I missed your first dance. I was eating dinner. Could you do it again? Like, you can't really do that with a wedding. So,
Yeah.
you know, we're talking about it slowly, but it's just all of these little things that just kind of didn't match my style, didn't match, you know, what was good for me with anxiety. So I think that all of these little pieces and nuggets along the way is what kind of led to us starting the initial talks about, is this really what we want to do?
Yeah. And I think another thing too is after a while, a lot of the videos look the same. And I'm trying to tread carefully here, but in Western Maine, there's only so many places and things you can do with your wedding. So I'd say 3/4 of the wedding videos were very, very similar when you look at the venue and everything like that. So I think your creative mind was like, I need something else.
Oh, 100%. Just, you know, you kind of attract like the similar wedding vibes that you're shooting just because it's most of the time you're getting that word of mouth from friend to friend, or people that were in the wedding or at the wedding and the wedding party. Like that was a lot of my referrals. So I was definitely booking a lot of the same thing, but yeah, creatively. And that's the thing, like people still, I have friends reach out and ask like, hey, would you shoot my wedding? And I always feel bad turning them down. But like what you're saying, where they kind of looked similar, I take a part of that on myself because again, I was starting to dread that editing process. So I think I was kind of falling back on my laurels of just putting it together the way I've seen it before or the way I've done it before, just because that's what I knew. That's how the structure I knew. So that was a big piece. And I just kind of felt bad. And that's why I don't want to take on any more weddings, because I don't feel like I'm trying to progress what I'm doing. Like I was just settling into that or trying to outsource it. And I just feel bad. Like if I had someone film our wedding, I would want them to really be trying to push the boundaries, trying to get every little piece they could out of it. And you're probably not going to do that if you're dreading it. So
Right.
it was just, I honestly started to feel bad like saying yes, because I knew I wasn't going to be probably creating or trying to just create over the top at 110%, which is pretty much all I can do.
And a wedding is like one of the most important days in people's lives. And I, as I don't know, maybe a future bride would want to.
Well, yeah, I hope.
I would want to know that my videographer and my photographer and really everyone helping me with my wedding is 100% and so passionate about what they're doing. So I think I really applaud you and us for realizing when it was time instead of pushing ourselves past where we should be and not doing the wedding video the way we would want it.
Correct. Yeah, that's a perfect way to put it. Like that is what I mean. Like I wasn't really just trying to progress it, like trying to just craft every single story I could out of it. It was more of the fact of I just felt like I was drowning in edits, so I needed to get it done.
Yeah.
So I think everything, I'm probably a little too harsh. Like it probably sounds like I wasn't trying on these wedding videos. I think they look pretty good.
We'll show one of my favorite ones right here.
Which is? Which one are you thinking?
Marie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hi, Marie and James.
Yeah. If you're seeing this, thank you. And thank you to every bride and groom if you're now watching this. I think we're going to pin it to Voyager's page. So thank you to everyone. You helped me kind of start my whole career. And I'm just so thankful that you trusted in me to put together a wedding video. So with that now behind us, I'd like to start talking about the talks we had about ending Voyager and shutting it down and kind of what you were feeling thinking about that. I think you were pretty timid going into that conversation. I don't think you really knew how to approach it. So I just want to talk openly about that and what that kind of felt like, what you were scared of, what you were thinking.
You know, honestly, like it sucks. It sucks. Like we started a company together and ending it. It's hard. Like I don't want it to be a reflection on our relationship at all. I think if anything, this is us making sure that our relationship is 100% at all times. And like I said before, and like you should just probably start counting now. I love weddings. So I was really sad. But at the same time, most of the time, actually all the time, I wasn't the one editing the video. So I wasn't dealing with the hardships that Cody was. So I get it and I understood it. And I wish I could film and edit a wedding video the way you could. But I just can't. And there's no reason for us to be doing something if both of us aren't 100% passionate about it. So
yeah. No, and I just a huge piece, obviously, like you said, like it was a reflection on the relationship, and to me it was like this brand, this company that I had been trying to build for 6 years ish, 5-6 years. And so thinking about just kind of getting rid of that and leaving it in the past was kind of a scary thought to me. Like what is next? That's kind of where the thing that I was known for was that company and shooting wedding videos. Just kind of, that was always my side hustle. So that's what I got known for. So kind of stepping away from that was stepping out into the unknown a little bit. But it also made me stop and think about like, okay, if I don't have this and I'm not in the wedding arena, you know, I am stepping into the unknown. So now I get to pick. And so just so you guys know, I do have an LLC for a production company. I don't even have a name yet. And I'm totally fine with that. I don't think I've quite narrowed down who I want to work with. And I want to know that first before I even create the name of the company. I definitely do have, you know, productions and clients that I've worked with in the past that I'm still working for. But I think I'm leaning towards like an outdoor brand. Like that's really where I thrive. And when I look back at things like my demo reel, which I think is probably one of my best videos I've ever done, you know, probably 80% of that content is outdoor adventure content or motorsports content. So I really want to try to get a full company based around that, because I know that's when I'm thriving, when shooting and editing video doesn't seem like work. Like that's what I want to be doing all the time. And now that's what I'm working for and working towards, instead of just feeling like I'm picking up more and more things that I've every time felt like I was drowning a little more.
Yeah.
So, but you also have your own venture that you're going off on. So we kind of went from a company together and now we're both going kind of, it sounds bad, but in our little bit of a separate direction. So
yeah.
I'd like to talk about that as well.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely still supporting each other. Like all my shoots I've been on for my business, Cody has been there 100% supporting me. So it's not like much has actually changed. And same with you. I'm there for most of your shoots unless it's during the workday.
Yeah.
Like we're still together all the time. Thank God.
Yeah.
To spend every day with you.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, because I love weddings and love, like I decided to go my own way. And one thing I'm truly passionate about is photography. So eventually I would love to be doing wedding photography. But for right now, I'm just focusing on people who are in love, families, engagement photos, and really anything that has to do with people and their passions.
Right. I think even though sometimes you say you're an introvert, I think you do love being around people. You love learning more about their stories. And just with you having your own photography page where people would know you, even though most of the time I'm probably going to be tagging along and coming with that, I think that goes back to what I was just saying about like kind of picking who you want to work with. It just makes it way easier for you to brand yourself as a photographer, so you're picking up those clients that you want to work with all the time. And eventually, when I get around to making whatever mine will be, again, you'll be with me and coming along and second shooting for sure, but it's going to allow me to reach out and be known in the space that I want to be known for. So again, separate companies, but still pretty much together. And then obviously we have this venture, YouTube, the podcast, the whole content creation, and that's what this is really about. I don't know if we really touched on, and I think we'll probably do a full episode on it, but why this podcast is called Welcome to the Real World. I don't know if we really answered that question in the last one. We talked a little bit about it.
I think we'll throw in a little hints until we focus on it, but yeah.
It's really just going to be about us documenting the journey, finding these companies, finding our passions, really trying to break out into the industries that we want to be in. So just having a space to document that whole process. I just think like looking back on these, you know, just thinking 10, 15, 20 years out is going to be so cool. And one of my heroes, idols, Gary Vee, always talks about documenting the process and kind of creating content out of that. And I think that's the way the industry's moving as well. So this is kind of a learning curve for both of us. I think we can both take what we learn here and apply it in our day jobs. So it's just constantly staying in it and staying up to date. And I just couldn't be more excited about the new direction.
Yeah. I wish we were doing this when we had Voyager so I could remember all the times I felt uncomfortable with our conversations about stopping it. But
yeah, and I do wish we had that. So, and if we probably sat down and had to just talk about it for 30 minutes straight or whatever that was going to be, we probably would have figured it out a little sooner.
Yeah, we probably wouldn't have argued. But who knows?
So, I don't know if we touched on it enough. How do you feel now that we have the two companies and we don't have just one umbrella that we're both sitting under?
Yeah, I mean, I spent a lot of time by myself thinking about like we don't have anything together anymore. Like I think I had a little mental breakdown one day.
That was a huge fear.
Yeah. Like it was like before work one day, we talked about it. I was standing right in front of the kitchen and I broke down. I'm like, what does this mean? Like we don't have anything together anymore. It was our thing, and then it was not. It was gone. So it's definitely been like a journey for me, but I'm feeling really good now. Like after seeing this all play out and feeling the tension just like lift off of like, what are we going to do with Voyager? What are we going to do? Like, why do we need to figure that out? If we're not doing anything with it, why? Why should we? Why don't we just focus on our own passions? And if our passions aren't 100% aligned, I don't want one of us to sacrifice their passion for the others, and we don't have to. Like, we're 23 years old. Like, why would we? We don't have to, and why would we? So now that my mindset has changed, I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling so excited. I know I'm very junior to photography, but I'm so excited to learn. I'm so excited to finally do the thing that I've been saying I'm going to do for like 6 years. So it's happening, and we're supporting each other, and it's the best feeling ever.
Awesome. Yeah, so to like give a little bit of background about the conversation about not having it together, Jill like broke down when I said, hey, you know, we had talked about starting the YouTube channel again. We just couldn't figure out how to start it. We knew it was going to be a joint channel between us. And I think one night I was just laying in bed and couldn't sleep and was thinking to myself, well, if we can't figure out collectively what we're going to do, should I just start my own on my own? And then you could have your own YouTube channel. We could just kind of both be in each other's videos. And I think that to me was just trying to find a solution to the problem of not knowing how to start.
Yeah.
But I think because of that hard conversation we had, and once I saw your reaction of how much it really meant to you, that really started the momentum that we needed to get this thing started.
Yeah. And I don't think I would have fully been okay with us shutting down Voyager until we had that conversation, because it is something that means a lot to me by doing something together. Like, we get so caught up in our lives sometimes with work and now like our side hustle and everything like that, that we kind of like, I wouldn't say lose touch with each other, but we don't sit down and have these conversations as often as they should, or we don't do one of our favorite things together a lot just because we're so busy. So sitting here in front of a camera, in front of microphones, it's definitely different for us, but it's so much fun in my opinion. And it just feels so good to be doing something that we're both loving together. 'Cause that was my big fear. Like, which also, as a side note, I feel like you didn't feel the same way I did when we were at weddings filming.
Right.
Like, I had so much fun, and I would cry and laugh, and it was so much fun to me. But like I said before, I wasn't the one doing the heavy work
Yeah.
So I guess I wasn't fully in putting myself in Cody's shoes to realize like this isn't his passion. So, and it's not yours. You just like weddings.
Yeah. You like the storyline.
Yeah, I love the storyline of weddings, and they're always so positive. Or at least the ones
Correct.
we've been to,
Yeah.
thank God.
Yeah.
And just every bride and groom that we've ever worked with have been so welcoming and so nice and awesome and so full of love that I didn't want to get rid of that. But this is just as good to me.
I think something you just said reminded me of it. I think owning the company together or just doing something together also helps our relationship a ton, because especially weddings, talking about like anxiety, I think that kind of helped me find that through just hard facts. Like there was no denying it. It happened every single time. So that kind of helped me. I think that definitely helped us because you were able to help me through that. But just with things when you're on a shoot and you're in that full work mode, you're in full flow. I think I'm quite a bit of a different person. Like I'm just so focused that I do think that kind of having that company together always helped us progress in our relationship and know each other better. So thinking about getting rid of that whole element of our relationship, which is we've pretty much had since day one, I think was very
day
scary.
one. Like -1, really.
Yeah. It's just something that we've always had passions about with being in companies and trying to apply the knowledge we had.
Yeah.
So to get rid of that definitely was a scary thought, but I was just so ready to get going. I'm like, are you sure you want to do this?
I think too, it, like we said, from day one, like it was all we ever had known as a relationship, as two people dating. So taking that away, it's like, okay, well then what does that mean for our relationship? Because this is all we've ever known.
Yeah.
But
I think we found like the perfect solution.
yeah.
Like we have the joint venture of YouTube and we're going to do that together. It's going to be all about documenting and being really open and raw, which I love. But then we're also going to have our little pockets of our individual strength with photo and video. And I think we'll both be able to second shoot for each other, which I just absolutely love. So
I know, I love second shoot. Maybe that's it. I just love second shooting.
Well, you don't have the pressure. You just get to have fun and be in the relationships and
trying to be creative. And then you're like, babe, what am I looking at here on the editing floor? What were you trying to do?
There were some funny conversations like that for sure from weddings, but it's all in good fun. I mean, looking back on it, like those were some funny times. They were definitely the most stressful times, but again, I think it made us closer through the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, force yourself in a stressful situation in a new
weekend.
Relationship.
Every weekend.
You're either gonna come out on top or not.
And here we are going strong. So I think we've talked about it quite a bit, but just one of the last things I want to touch on is what to expect from us moving forward. So I don't know if you want to start.
Awesomeness.
Yeah.
I think just expect us growing and learning. Like you guys know, this is new to us. This is episode 2. This is the second time we've ever sat in front of these microphones, and we're figuring it out. So that's what to expect from us. But also just trying new things and utilizing this YouTube channel and utilizing our new free time in really valuable ways.
Exactly. I think that we together will document the whole process, whether it's good or bad, trying to find that out and just talking about the struggles that we're going through, what the wins are. And I think one of the coolest things and one of the things that I'm most proud about is we did shut down a company, and so many people are so scared to fail that they don't start. And we're pretty much just saying flat out, like, not that it was a super big failure, but it wasn't a success. And I'm totally fine with that. So I'm excited that we're ready to try new things. I think that that's going to only help our relationship. And just the fact that we're okay to put it out there. We know that people are going to critique us. We're ready for that. I'm just super excited. I'm just very glad that we both have those same values, that we're not going to let the fear of failing kind of take over and allow us to take a back seat and just ride through life.
And I'd just like to point out that maybe in your opinion, like, I don't know, I wouldn't consider us shutting down our company a failure, and I wouldn't consider our company a failure. I think if 18-year-old you saw kind of your growth, 18-year-old you would be like, holy crap, that's so successful. It's just 23-year-old you, that's not what you consider successful, but that's not a failure.
Yeah. No, I mean, you're right. Like, I booked myself solid. So
Yeah.
it's hard to say that it was a failure. It's just not the direction I wanted to go in. It wasn't the right community for where we were headed and the content we were going to post. So there was no sense in doing that. So no, that's definitely true. It's not a failure. It's just ready to move on.
Yeah. And I want to applaud you for realizing when you wanted to finish something and let it go, and being so strong about it. I think it's a hard move. It's a hard move, and it's hard to understand in your mind when you should stop something.
For sure.
And so I'm just proud of you. You did a really good job.
Well, I think we both did it. So I think that pretty much wraps up episode 2, unless there's anything else that you were thinking.
I just want to say one more time, if any of our past clients are watching this, any of our past brides and grooms or family members of them, thank you.
For real. Thank you so much. It truly was a blast. Like, I can pretty much remember every piece and part to every wedding video I did just because I was so in that moment. And so thank you so much for allowing me to capture your day and put together that film that I hope it's something that you continually watch throughout all the years of your marriage. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It truly means a lot.
Yeah, we understand how important a wedding day is to everyone.
100%.
And we hope that at the end of your wedding day, you're happy with choosing us. And hopefully in the future, we'll be here to support you with any and everything. We're here for you guys. And we're so thankful for the friendships that we've created throughout this, including like even the other people you've shot with.
For sure.
Everyone has been so helpful and understanding and awesome. We're just thankful for everyone that was involved with Voyager. And we don't want the end of Voyager to be the end of our relationships with everyone. I really don't. Like, I can't stress that enough.
Yeah. And I mean, you're still in that whole family capacity with your photography business, at least to the start.
So if any of our bride and grooms are having a child or just want any photos together, reach out to me. I'd love to do something for you guys, really. I think we are really grateful to have made a relationship with you, and it's the least that I could do.
Awesome. So that wraps up episode 2. We are going to post this again on Sunday, and then still going to try to continue that train of 1 episode a week, releasing every Sunday until we start mixing in maybe some other shows and things that we have coming. So definitely stay tuned. Each week's going to be something completely new. I am very excited to talk about some of the upcoming shows. So absolutely subscribe and stay tuned.
Can we give them a few little sneak peeks about what we'll be talking about?
Give them one. Give them one.
Just one? Come on. Can I give them like 3?
2.
Well, 2 plus 1 more.
That's 3. So 2.
So I'm going to give you guys 3 sneak peeks.
See how it works.
Well, one of them is really important. It's why we named this podcast Welcome to the Real World. So that doesn't count.
Okay. Yeah, we already gave him that one. So that's a little recap for you guys. So
then another one is something that I don't think a lot of people know about us, and it was kind of a really big change for our lifestyles, but we are vegan. And we want to talk to you guys about that because I think there's some different views and connotations that people have for vegans, and we had the same exact views. So
Absolutely.
we really want to talk to you guys about that. And I think another one would probably just be living in Portland.
Yeah, that's the one I'm really excited about.
I'm so excited for this one. I can't wait to show you guys our awesome tiny apartment.
412 square feet, baby.
We'll give you a nice little house tour. It's gonna last forever.
Yeah.
And then show you around our neighborhood. I mean, we're moving in 2 months and we're really excited, but we definitely want to document what we have now because it is freaking awesome.
Yeah, we're super excited about where we are right now. We're also thrilled to be headed in the right direction, kind of matching our lifestyle to where we're going to be living. So definitely stay tuned, guys. I'm
Yeah.
so excited, and I'm really excited to record the next one. I feel like we could do it right now.
I know.
I think that wraps up episode 2. Yes. All right, guys. See you in the next one.
Bye, guys.